What's poppin'? Let's just go through this video very quickly. This was published 14 years ago when Kerslake released her second album, Moments.
Tell me about the album that's coming out in March.
Okay, so it's called Moments and it's out March 14th. It's really been a labour of love for me, completely. It's just, when we were making it, we had an awful lot of time to make it. We sort of started in August last year, so nearly 6 months.
That's not a long time to make an album. Professional artists spend years in the studio, not always. Some work can be produced in a really short amount of time, like a day. And then other artists or the same artist will spend years on other pieces of work. So 6 months in the studio is not a very long time,
And
relatively
when
speaking.
we were throwing around ideas and stuff, I just thought, who's really influenced me as an artist? Who did I listen to growing up, and who's influenced the way I sing and my sound and everything? And the people I came up with were Enya, Kate Bush and Sarah Brightman.
Came up with sounds like she's making it up. To me, in my view, it sounds like she's making it up. So what I find funny about this is that she's previously proclaimed to be this big classical music fan, this big opera fan. And it's only during her second album that she's mentioned Sarah Brightman, who is the biggest selling soprano in classical or classical crossover. So you would have thought that maybe Sarah Brightman would have had some props and some mentions when she released her first album when she was working with Gary Barlow. And then Enya and Kate Bush, nothing against either of them. I like both of them, but they're not classical, or they're not typically named as classical influences. And yeah, just the desperate look on her face there, like, please believe me. Please believe that I'm an actual singer. Please believe that I'm a professional. That's how it comes across to me anyway. So yeah, let's let her carry on.
So that's almost, it almost does sound like those three got together and made a record. It really does. I mean, it's got the sort of Celtic, amazingly relaxing atmosphere.
The critics didn't say that.
Atmospheric stuff that Enya does, but it's got the sort of, you know, the kookiness and the amazing vocals of like Kate Bush, but then it's just got the classical lilt of Sarah Brightman in there. I really, I love it. I'm so proud of it.
She doesn't seem very well versed in talking about music in any regard. That looks like a really desperate smile, like she's miserable on the inside, but desperately pretending that she's happy.
Yeah, I thought that actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when I was listening
Oh, did you? Compliment me.
to it, definitely Enya, Celtic influences and all that. But at the same
That look there, like it's almost like she's about to correct her and say, well, there's something else that you're missing. Let's just go back.
Did you?
yeah, when I was listening to it, definitely Enya, Celtic influences and all that. But at the same time, there's a lot of eccentric choices because
There are some really different choices. I mean, we've done a Mike Oldfield cover. We've had a few songs written for us by a guy called Brendan Graham, who wrote "You Raise Me Up," which is obviously an amazing song. But at the same time, there is some really obvious stuff. Like we did do a Kate Bush cover, and there's quite a lot of Irish stuff in there as well. Just sort of keep the theme of the last record. What we are trying to do is we're sort of breaking new ground, really. If I'm honest, there's no one doing this at the moment. There have been people like Enya who've done this atmospheric sort of music before, but there's never been anyone to do it in a classical way. And I mean, it's terrifying, you know, sort of, as I said,
For all of us.
doing something completely different, because with the classical record last time, you know, we knew that people liked crossover. So, I mean, hopefully it works out, and it is more commercial, I guess, but I don't think that was intentional. I think it was just the way it turned out.
do you have any favorite tracks on the album?
This Woman's Work, the Kate Bush cover, is really great. We had this writer called Molly Bean, and she wrote 3 tracks on the album, actually.
I haven't looked at Moments as an album in any great depth. I just need to get coffee. Excuse me. Yeah, so I don't know if this is also an album entirely of covers, which would mean that both her albums the first self-titled Camilla Kerslake album and Moments are possibly made entirely of covers, which isn't typically how you debut as a singer. Not in an official capacity.
And my favourite song of hers is a track called Let Go, which is just brilliant. The Brendan Graham track, Sleep Song, is like this fantastic lullaby. And the single is El Corazon, and I love that as well. It's this classical sample that we've taken and just put to this sort of groove that we wouldn't have done last time around. It's new, it's exciting, I like it.
Have you started writing?
No substance to that.
Did you write any material for the album?
I do. I arranged all the vocals on this album.
Right, so arranging vocals is not the same as writing vocals. She seems to get defensive here. I do write. It's just maybe my writing isn't on this album. Sounds like that. I ought to have looked at it, but I'm exhausted and I have too much to do. I never wanted to be a YouTuber. So, yeah, let's just carry on with this.
And the last album. But hopefully on the third album I'll actually get in the studio and be actually physically writing the material.
Right, so hopefully on the third album you'll do some writing. So it seems like she's implying anyway that she didn't write for either of her two published albums. And album 3 never happened.
As well.
And obviously you got an album coming out. Are we going to be seeing you live soon?
Oh, definitely. Hopefully I'll be going on tour from the end of March till the beginning of May. There'll be lots of TVs and everything, so hopefully you'll be able to see me around.
Sounds good.
Lots of TVs? What does that mean? Like TV appearances? Or just there'll be a load of TVs in these places I'm allegedly booked for? I don't understand. I don't think she understands either. That's my opinion.
I've been asking this to everyone I've been interviewing this week. It's Valentine's Day next week. What would be your perfect Valentine's date, as in the scene?
I'm single at the moment. So I'm actually going for drinks with two of my friends, also single, at the Mayfair, and we're going to go out and drown our sorrows.
Well, apparently it's the best day to be a
single lady?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, fantastic. I won't be single for long. But a few years ago, a boyfriend of mine took me to Paris, which is so cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. You know, it was fantastic. I had no idea. He told me the morning that we were leaving. So that was amazing. It was sort of did the Eiffel Tower thing and the French food thing. I had a really good
What
time.
kind of music do you listen to?
I literally listened to everything. I mean, on the way over, I was listening to Muse, a bit of Pendulum, but then, throw on a Maria Calais track.
Maria Calais. It's Maria Callas. If she was truly a classical music or opera fan or student, she would know it's Maria Callas.
It's just sort of... I have my iPod on shuffle because I find that way you discover music that you haven't been listening to for a while. So just whatever comes on, really.
Is that your first love, though? Did you always knew? Because if you sing classical, you can usually sing anything, pretty much.
Yeah, that is true.
Was that always the route you wanted to take?
Do you know what? I say this to everybody. I don't like a specific genre of music. I just like good music. I mean, it could be hip-hop. It could be from...
Well, it just doesn't really align with her previous narrative of being this classically trained, even though she had to save up for singing lessons and all of this. The narrative keeps switching anyway. So yeah, it's not consistent. You've got to pick a side eventually. You can love all music, but you've also got to decide where you sit within that, especially as a brand new artist who no one's ever heard of.
From an actual opera. It could be, death metal. If it's good music, I'll like it regardless.
What is important to you then when you're in the studio, when you're writing music?
Do you know what? It's really important, and I always gain about half a stone when I'm in the studio, is food. Because it doesn't seem it, but singing is such hard work. So, I mean, last time, I've got a picture of it on my phone, and there's like two massive bags of crisps, Haribo, some little cakes. No wonder...
Right, so I'll tell you this for nothing. Singing is hard work, and you burn calories when you're singing. But the types of food you are expected to eat as a professional singer do not typically include crisps and Haribo and cakes. Like dairy is almost prohibited. Crisps are nearly all flavors of crisps are really salty, so your throat is going to be suffering if you're eating loads of crisps. Sugar is going to send you all over the place and you're going to have headaches. Like if she'd have actually trained previously, she would already know this. She would have known how to look after her voice. She would have known which foods to go to that she'd be drawn towards while she was in the studio. So to me, it just comes across like she was pigging out in the studio because she had nothing better to do and she wasn't really working at all. Um, she does come across to me, having met her and just reviewing her interviews and her so-called work, she does come across to me as though she lets everyone else do the hard work and then she kind of turns up for a little bit, sings a little song, not very well, and doesn't know what she's talking about. That's just my opinion.
When I left, I thought my jeans are a bit tight. I spent from sort of all of January just trying to get back to the size I was before, so my performance dress is fitted.
Yeah, obviously with Christmas break as well,
Yeah,
that doesn't
exactly.
help, does it?
No, not at all. But I mean, mood lighting's important as well. I never have like a bright fluorescent light when I sing. In the studio, it's always maybe I'll have a candle or a low lamp or something. It has to be sort of atmospheric, or otherwise I just can't get in the mood of what I'm doing. They're very respectful.
Yeah, the lighting's important while I'm pigging out on all these crisps and cakes and Haribo.
For my fans, like in the same way that some of my friends who are pop musicians, they'll just get.
So she says she has pop musician friends, but I think if this were true, she would have collaborated with these pop singer friends that she has. Like even in just an interview, even if it wasn't a musical project, but I can't find them anywhere.
Get mobbed wherever they go. Whereas I'll get, someone coming over very politely telling me that they enjoyed one of my performances or that they like my music, and that's much nicer.
Yeah, the reason that pop singers have fans who are really excited to see them and their fans, one fan will see their favourite pop singer or someone they like, and then their friends who they're with also like that pop singer, so they get so-called mauled or mobbed. But that's because they actually have fans and people know who they are. She gets recognised by one or two people, and it's because she's not famous.
I expect the record to go gold, if I'm honest, because that doesn't actually happen a lot to classical artists. Coming over very politely telling me that they enjoyed one of my performances or that they like my music, and that's much nicer. I expect the record to go gold, if I'm honest, because that doesn't actually happen a lot to classical artists. And I had no idea I was going to be nominated for the best album at the Brits. I had no idea that was going to.
So she expected the record to go gold instead of silver. So it went silver, the Camilla Kerslake album, the first album. Apparently it sold 60,000 records, I think, and I've probably already said this somewhere on one of the videos, but I think that the only reason, this is my opinion, and I'm allowed to have an opinion, the only reason that the first album went silver was because Gary Barlow was pushing it, and we all know, and this is no disrespect to artists who've actually won awards on merit, because it does happen, but it's been widely claimed that many award shows are rigged. So she, for the classical Brit nomination, she took someone else's place, in my view. I think that there were other classical artists who could have been nominated for Album of the Year, and they were possibly making their own classical work. It wasn't just an album full of covers, but again, because Gary Barlow was pushing it, there had been some publicity about it, including the Classical Brit Awards. People thought, oh, this must be good, and then they bought it, realised it wasn't, and then didn't buy the second album.
Happen. And then I didn't even know I was even in the running, and then when it happened, it was such a shock, an amazing
I don't believe that for a second.
shock, but such a shock.
What was your highlight performance of the past year?
The classical Brits performance was incredible, but probably my highlight would either be my 2 Wembleys, for the Challenge Cup and the Carling Cup, or singing for Her Majesty the Queen at the Festival of Remembrance.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Right, so yeah, I mean, it was boring, and we're just over 15 minutes in. Congratulations if you got this far. I'm exhausted from everything I have to do as well as this. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.